You are listening to 600 Second Saga. Today's feature is String Driven Thing by Vorn Stanger. When it comes to generating energy, Robert Heinlein's maxim definitely applies. There ain't no such thing as a free lunch. For now, the sun continues to shine. If it stops anytime soon, I guess you'll have a few hours at most to blame me. Belinda and I first heard about extracting zero-point energy from the vacuum long before the news feeds got excited. Invariably, the earliest of early adopters, we ordered a box of zero-point light bulbs as soon as we read the press release, despite the outrageous price. Set to hover, they made lovely Christmas ornaments. Whoever said that perpetual motion doesn't work? On the 12th day of Christmas, Belinda switched off the lowermost bulb and let it fall into her hand. "Oh!" she yelped. Worried that she might have scorched her hand, I swiveled in my chair. "Did you burn yourself?" Belinda served up her minted, "You're such a dummy" look. "Oh, Mike, you're not going senile on me, are you?" At which point I recalled that zero-point devices operate at ambient temperature. "What's up, then?" "Not sure yet." She was peering intently at what, from my vantage point, looked like nothing at all. First, she bent down. Then, she stood on tiptoe. Finally, she crabbed around, bobbing her head, inspecting whatever it was, or wasn't, from every angle. Finally, she gave a little nod accompanied by a grunt of satisfaction. "Okay, take a look at the rug from here." She indicated a point in midair with the tip of her index finger. We really should have gotten rid of that fraying memento of our honeymoon years ago. But I peered at it as instructed. A small patch looked decidedly pale. Had I spilled something on it? No, evidently not, because when I raised my head, the faded patch moved too. "Oh my!" "Indeed," said Belinda. I experimented some more. By looking through the designated spot from various directions, I could make patches of wallpaper and curtains fade. Now it was my turn to point at the flaw in space. "Is that where you hung the light, darling?" "No, that's where you hung it." I accepted the blame with a sigh before resuming my inspection of the defect. Something had caught my eye. A tiny nub of whiteness where previously there was nothing. "Unless I'm much mistaken," I said, "there is something here now." With my thumbnail and forefinger pinched together, I attempted to tweeze it out. On my third attempt, I finally managed to extract a short piece of what looked remarkably like string. "Now you've done it," Belinda said. How right she was. That evening, I fired up my laptop and sent an email to BBC News. My announcement retained most read status for a fortnight. I suppose someone had to be the first to report the phenomenon, which is how the Jameson effect came to be so named. Before long, everyone was pulling string out of nothing. A forgotten generation of cosmologists presumably jumped for joy, albeit arthritically. A few learned voices did express concern, but most folks continued to run their vacuum energy bulbs and other zero-point devices without batting an eyelid. As for me, well, I reverted to cranking the power handle on my laptop. Scuffing up the universe just didn't feel right somehow. Now, the thing about string is that it's such a versatile material, particularly useful in these resource-limited times. Belinda, bless her, decided to knit me a string vest, but I made her wear it, because, to be frank, seeing her dressed like that did something wicked to my libido. Tie a knot in it, darling, she said, favoring me with a lascivious wink. I'm pretty sure she wasn't referring to the string-based necktie she'd sewn up a couple of days before, the topology of which I was still attempting to tame. Similar scenes of blissful domesticity doubtless typified the all-too-brief era of free energy. The associated glut of string led to a cornucopia of craft-based competitions and concerts for music played exclusively on stringed instruments. Who other than me cared about the growing number of bare patches? A killjoy physicist working for the Russian Academy of Sciences, that's who. Kudos to him, I say. He measured the speed of light every month for a year, achieving unprecedented accuracy. His paper in Nature caused a sensation. Further experiments revealed that the elementary charge had increased slightly. Evidently, the universe's fundamental constants weren't so constant anymore. True, the changes were tiny, but that wasn't the point. The more pieces of cosmic string we pulled from thin air, the more deltas we inflicted on the fine structure constant. And, as more than one eminent scientist has observed, the fundamental properties of our universe do seem exquisitely fine-tuned for the existence of life. How many hits can it take before that observation no longer holds true? No one knows for sure, but I know that I never used to get this nervous before sunrise. Only the other day, the government announced personal quotas for harvesting zero-point energy, plus a string trading scheme. But for me, such measures don't go nearly far enough. So, Belinda and I have bitten the bullet and declared our house a string-free zone. From now on, we'll be relying on solar power. We're the first of the unadopters, and will trumpet our conversion to anyone who will listen, because the world has to learn that energy is never free. This was String Driven Thing by Vaughn Stanger, originally published in Nature Futures. Check our show notes for links. Formerly an astronomer and more recently a research project manager in the aerospace and defense industry, Vaughn Stanger now writes SF and fantasy fiction for a living. His stories have appeared in Daily Science Fiction, Abyss and Apex, Postscripts, Nature Futures, and Interzone, amongst other noted magazines and anthologies. Like most writers, he's working on a novel, and has been for many years. He also loves cats, thus further conforming to the cliché. Plus, he's holding out for that holiday on the moon he was promised in the dim and distant past. You can follow his writing adventures at his website or on Twitter. Please check our show notes for links. Music is provided by Mads. Learn more about 600 Second Saga, our authors, how to submit your flash fiction, and how to support the podcast in the show notes. This has been Mariah Avix and 600 Second Saga.